Welcome back to Horn Takes, your Texas football and baseball talk destination. I'm Sean Redfern. It is Tuesday. It's a short week Tuesday. We got Thanksgiving coming up. I did a poll on Twitter the other day, sometime last night. So I'll see some results sometime tonight. We need to solve something. Stuffing or dressing. I'm from Texas, folks, and it is cornbread dressing where I come from. But I'm curious to see how many stuffing people we got out there in the Twitter sphere. I hope not a lot. My wife's family from up north, she spent the most of her time in Texas. A lot of her brothers and sisters were born in Texas, but they do stuffing. I don't, I can't get with that. We're going to do the deep dive today. Because it's a short week, we're going to try to cram the offense and defense into one show. We'll see how that goes. Might be a little long of a show. Before we get into all that, just saw this morning North Carolina fires Mac Brown after, I don't even know what their record is this year, but it's not good. And I think UNC had a pretty decent year the first year Mac Brown was there, and then after that, it's just kind of derailed a little bit for Mac. Mac Brown, one of the greatest dudes in college coaching history, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know them all, but he's a good old fashioned, down to earth kind of guy. The problem with Mac Brown, he's just too damn stubborn. He could have walked away from North Carolina, and they probably had that conversation about walking away gracefully, getting the party, but he did what he did at Texas, and he kind of got defiant there at the end. I still plan on being the head coach. They're going to have to fire me, basically, and that's what they did. So rough deal for Mac Brown. It's a business, but he's got to feel hurt by that. He's given so much to North Carolina. He gave so much to Texas as well. I think you kind of get to a spot where you just get comfortable and you just think to yourself, man, there's no way that they're going to fire me. It's a big business, folks. Nick Saban himself could have done some things to get fired from the University of Alabama. If Nick Saban was the coach of Alabama this year, holy shit. I guarantee you that fan base would be hollering about firing Nick Saban. Check us out on Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube at Horn Takes. If you like to listen to the podcast, we're at Apple Podcast, iHeart Podcast, Spotify Podcast. You can also find us at Horn Takes Podcast at buzzsprout.com. Excuse me, that's horntakespodcast.buzzsprout.com. All the audio episodes are there as well. I would caution though, YouTube's the place to be. We do a lot of video now. You can't see videos when I'm talking about them through podcasts. I don't think we have the technology yet. Let's get into this deep dive on Aggie. I should have just did like a paint thing and just wrote out Aggie instead of actually getting their symbol. But I've been doing teams logos all season long. Figure I keep it 100, even though it's the Aggies. Texas coming into this game ranked third. Aggie 20th after that loss on the road to Auburn. Texas with a 10-1 record, 6-1 in the SEC. Aggie sitting at 8-3, 5-2 in the SEC. So it's a playoff game. Texas offense, total offense, 449 a game. That ranks 18th in the country. A&M defense giving up 356 yards a game. That's 56th in the country. Not a great defense for this Aggie team. Honestly, not a great offense either. They're just kind of statistically, just kind of an average team. Passing offense, 279 yards a game for those Longhorns. That's 17th in the country. A&M, 227 yards through the air per game on defense. That's 81st in the country. So an opportunity there for Texas to really attack a weak passing game. And we'll talk a little bit more about kind of what makes up that weak passing game in a little bit when we get to checking tape. Texas rushing offense, 169 yards per game, ranked 58th in the country. That Aggie rushing defense, 128 yards a game, 41st in the country. Think that matchup right there could be kind of a key for this game on Saturday. Texas comes into this matchup with 36.5 points per game. That's good enough for 15th in the country. That Aggie defense holding opponents to 21.5 points per game. That's 38th in the country. Texas giving up 21 sacks on the season. That's not that great. That's about half. That's about midway in the pack, 64th. That Aggie defense got 23 sacks, which is good enough for 58th nationally. So pretty decent. Not great. I feel like last year the Longhorns had 28 sacks on the season. Maybe I'm wrong. I have to go back and look that up. Turnovers lost. Texas has lost 17 turnovers so far this season. That's not very good. It ranks 85th in the country. Turnovers gained, only 15 for that Aggie defense. That's 57th in the country. To me, that's another spot for kind of a key for this game. Third down offense, Texas converting almost 45% of the time. That's 30th. This Aggie defense holding opponents to only 33% conversions, and that's 26th in the country. So there's another statistical place where these teams are very similar, and I think whoever I would say the matchup is very similar. Whoever kind of wins that could be a key to the game. Red zone offense, Texas not good. They're converting in the red zone 84% of the time. That's good for 73rd in the country. Good thing is this Texas A&M defense not very good. They allow 90% conversion. It's good for 106th in the country. I think that's another place for a key right there. We'll see. Texas total defense, 247 yards a game. That's second in the nation. This Aggie offense, pretty powerful, 417 yards per game on offense. It's good for 44th. I mean, the difference between the A&M offense and the Texas offense is like 30 yards per game. And the difference in the ranking, 26. It's not a huge difference. I mean, you're talking about not a big difference there, folks. Although the numbers look good. It looks good to see 44 next to Texas A&M's offensive rank. Passing defense, this Texas defense, one of the best in the country, 143 yards a game. That's fifth. Passing offense, 208 through the air for the Aggies. That is 86th. So you got to think that's a big advantage for the University of Texas. They've been good all year. Rushing defense, 104 yards a game for this Texas defense. That's good enough for 13th. And folks, I mean, I feel like after losing to Vondre Sweat and Byron Murphy, they have done an outstanding job this year. 104 yards a game. That's not a lot. So kudos to PK and that Texas defense. This Aggie rushing offense, pretty damn good. 208 yards a game. It's good enough for 17th in the country. So there's definitely a key matchup right there. Scoring defense, Texas giving up 12 points per game, just north of 12 points per game. That's third in the country. This Aggie offense scoring 32 points per game. That's 36 in the country. Texas, 33 sacks after that big sack day against Kentucky. That's 11th in the country, and that's a great number, man. I think, man, I was looking. Ole Miss has 49 sacks. That is insane. How are they so terrible? You got 49 sacks. I don't know. This Aggie offense allows 20 sacks so far this season. That's 59th in the country. Turnovers gained. Texas got 24 turnovers gained this year. That's fifth in the country. They're a big interception team. I think they've got like 18 interceptions. Turnovers lost. A&M only lost 11 this year, so that's really good. That's 29th in the country. Third down defense, Texas a tick under 30%, ninth in the country. That third down offense for A&M just over 45%. That's 22nd in the country. So I think that's another key area. Then that red zone defense for Texas, only allowing teams to convert 72% of the time. That's 10th in the country. This A&M red zone offense converts 95% of the time. That's second in the country. So another key matchup right there. So these teams, overall, I think you look at this game on paper, and Texas across the board certainly better. But if you look specifically at how these teams have to match up, I think there's some areas there where A&M's probably better, and these are definitely going to be key spots that will determine this game. And we'll talk about some of this stuff tomorrow when we do four keys in a prediction. Seems crazy to do four keys in a prediction this early, but we got to, folks, because it's Thanksgiving on Thursday. Let's check out this Texas A&M offense. First year offensive coordinator Colin Klein. It's exactly what you would expect out of one of his. If you saw this guy play at Kansas State, power running schemes, QB centric. What I mean by that, I feel like Colin Klein wants his quarterback to do a lot more than other offensive coordinators want their quarterback to do. He's going to run the ball. He's going to throw the ball. He's going to run, then he's going to throw the ball. He's just a big part of the offense, a big part of, and it makes sense. The quarterback touches the ball every single play. It makes sense that you would sort of want the offense to run through a guy like that. And I don't know if it's as centric as that Vanderbilt offense with Pavia, but it's along those lines, similar to what Arkansas had. You're gonna see Marcel Reed do a lot of things in this game. If Texas A&M is going to win on Saturday, Marcel Reed is going to have a really good game. And I don't think he can do that just one-dimensionally. I think it's going to take really good effort in both the passing game and in the running game. And then you're going to see a few wrinkles here and there. Pretty straightforward. The only thing we haven't seen is the sideways hop. If I see Marcel Reed do the sideways hop and just run forward, man, I don't know. That might be the greatest moment in sports history to see Colin Klein calling the sideways hop instead of just doing the sideways hop quarterback run. Led offensively by 6'2", 180-pound freshman Marcel Reed. He is 105 of 175. That's 60% passing for 1,426 yards. 12 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. So pretty good there. He also has 93 rushing attempts for 441 yards. That's 4.7 yards per carry. 6 touchdowns there. So he accounts for 18 touchdowns for this A&M offense. So like we said, QB-centric. 5'9", 215-pound running back. He's a junior, by the way. Amari Daniels will carry the bulk of the load for the Aggies on the ground with Moss out. That's a big kid. 5'9", 215 is a chunk. It'd be hard to stack 215 pounds on 5'9" frame. Conceivably, he's done it, though. He has 126 carries for 640 yards, 8 touchdowns. That's 5.1 yards per carry. That's pretty good average. He's got 6 catches for 60. I wouldn't call that a huge threat out of the backfield, but certainly effective. 10 yards a catch. I think we'll see 6 foot, 195-pound freshman Terry Bussey. I think he's going to take a little more of a role in that backup running back position, and he'll also run the Wildcat. He's got 12 carries, 92 yards, 2 touchdowns this year. He also has 11 catches for 139 yards. So he's kind of like I remember Terry Bussey was kind of like one of the best athletes in the country. He might have been the top athlete in the country in that 2024 class. So he's kind of like one of those do all type of dudes for them. Wide receiver group, 6'6", 200-pound junior Noah Thomas leads Aggie in receptions and touchdowns. He's got 31 receptions, 514 yards, and 6 touchdowns. He's a big old target. Long, lanky, can hop a little bit. Reminds me of a basketball player. I've been saying for like decades, if I'm a coach and I want to throw the ball around, I am going to find basketball players that also play football. I just think their skill set, they jump all the time and they rebound the ball all the time. And if you can find guys that just, I mean, some of these basketball players' hands can like wrap around the football. I mean, they're catching it. To me, Noah Thomas looks a lot like a basketball player. 5'10", 182-pound senior, Jabray Barber, something like that. I apologize to Mr. Barber. I just can't. I don't know. Jabray. Anyway, he's second on the team in catches and receiving yards. He got 29 catches for 325 yards and a touchdown. And then a guy that really caught my eye in this Auburn game last week, 6'4", 205-pound senior Jade Walker, kind of rounds out that receiving group. He's got 24 catches for 277 yards, 2 touchdowns. He made some really nice grabs in that Auburn game. He is a big body guy. I think he needs to get some new celebrations. He does the quiet celebration almost after every catch. It doesn't matter how impactful that catch was. He just likes to tell people to be quiet. But no, for real, he's a big dude. Strong hands. They got a pretty decent wide receiver group. I mean, I think they've got some size. They've got the smaller, probably a lot more shifty Barber. And you kind of got your tweener with Noah Thomas. Really, really big, really experienced offensive line for this Texas Aggie offense. They average 6'5", 325 pounds. They got 4 juniors and a sophomore, and that sophomore started every game he's been healthy since getting to College Station. He's got 20 starts. A couple of those guys transfers. They're really big, really experienced. I don't know how athletic they are. They they have a tendency sometimes to get stuck in the feet and do some grabbing. So we'll see. I don't know. We'll see how that goes with the quickness and power of that Texas offense, or excuse me, that Texas defensive line. Defensively for this Aggie team, defensive coordinator Jay Bateman. He's trying to revive the ghost of the wrecking crew, like so many Aggie defensive coordinators have for years. Pretty solid unit. Pretty typical in their coverages. There's not a whole lot there, but they're really multiple in their blitz looks. They're going to line up in nickel a lot. You're going to see man with a single high safety, that man free look. You're going to see a 2 deep look. You're going to see them start out in a 2 deep look and roll into that man free look. They really put a lot of pressure on their cornerbacks, and I think they expect a lot out of those safeties. You know how in business sometimes you say we're not going to throw bodies at a problem. We're going to figure out solutions. We're going to figure out procedural ways to fix the problem. Texas A&M does not do that defensively. They definitely throw bodies at the point of attack. They line people up that way. They'll bring people down and blitz. They they have a really big front four, and so they just clog up a lot of space. They're 6'4", 297 across that front average, and that's 2 defensive ends. Their tackles aren't enormous. They're not near as big as the guys from Kentucky, but they're big enough. And those 2 ends are really big guys and athletic. To be that big, they're athletic. 6 foot, 235-pound sophomore linebacker Torian York leads the Aggies in tackles. He's got 65. He's also got 5 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks, an interception, a couple pass breakups, and a couple QB hurries. So he's kind of like flying around all over the field guy. He does a lot of things for that Aggie defense. Leading Aggie in sacks, 6'4", 285-pound junior edge Nick Scorton. That's right, 6'4", 285-pound edge Nick Scorton. And he probably plays more like it's like a wide tackle. It's just the way they, I mean, what you'll see out of the Aggie defense most of the time is going to have 3 down and then a stand-up guy. So you got your nose tackle. You'll have a tackle that plays more of a 2 or a 3 technique. You'll have that shaded nose, and then you'll have a tackle that's slid out maybe like to a 4 or a 5 technique. He's that guy. But he's not a true tackle, and he's probably not a true edge either. All I know is he has 31 tackles, 14 tackles for loss, 5 sacks, 2 pass breakups, 4 QB hurries, and 1 forced fumble. So he's a big guy, not crazy athletic. I mean, he's really athletic for his size, but I don't think he's going to speed rush a lot of people. And he probably doesn't have to because he's 285 pounds. 6'3", 210-pound sophomore safety Marcus Ratcliffe, and 6'1", 195-pound senior nickel BJ Mays. They lead the Aggies in interceptions with 3 apiece. So it's a big unit, man. This is a big Texas A&M defense. I don't think I've ever seen this many safeties that big. 6'3", 210. I mean, that's mad. And that's just where the game's going. Check tape. Do a quick look at some of the different looks we're going to see from this Aggie run game. Here we are in 2nd and 7. We're going to see your typical 11 personnel. You got that tight end kind of lined up in an H-back position. You got the 1 running back, 3 wide receivers. We're just going to see an old school power play off tackle. And it's kind of interesting. We used to run a play just like this, minus all the stuff up front with the offensive line. But really all this is like a TI look, and you're just running an off tackle power. They just don't have all those big backs in the backfield. They're using offensive linemen. Check out what the left guard does. He takes kind of like a drop step, and we'll run this a little bit and I'll show you. Watch that left guard. He takes a little drop step and comes around, and he's just looking for something at the second level. And man, you just don't see that type of play a lot. Now, we saw with Kentucky last week some cross blocking, but this is different because on that cross block, the tackle blocks down, and that guard is really kicking out on an end where there's no in there. So the tackle just takes that in man on the line of scrimmage, and the guard's pulling around just to find something on the second level. The right tackle, I want y'all to watch him when I roll this. You can already see he's pulling, and he's looking at the second level as well. He's going to find something. Watch this. Boom. Just absolutely crushes the Auburn linebacker, who I don't think saw him coming. That's kind of like a trap play on a linebacker. He thought he's running up to meet the running back in the hole and just gets absolutely ear-holed. Good stuff. But a nice little gain for first down by that Aggie offense. Reed, he's looking at that backside defensive end. We're gonna see the same action as that at some point, I bet, against Texas, and Reed's gonna keep it, and they've kept it before on that same action, I'm sure. Anytime Reed hands it off, there's a play in the Aggie offensive playbook, or there's a read for Reed where it will allow him to keep the ball. Guarantee it. Then we got 1st and 10. Bussy do it all, everything. He's a wide receiver on this play. We're going to see him go in motion, and right before he gets to the mesh point, the snap's coming. So from a linebacker perspective, you're seeing You're seeing all this stuff right there at the mesh point when the ball gets there. And watch the linebackers. You're going to get just enough movement out of them because of that cross motion that Daniels is going to kind of be able to cut back behind it for a nice little gain on the zone read. 11 look. There goes Bussy. I think that's Bussy. But you saw how that's not Bussy. That's number 1. You see how he was right there when the snap got there? Let me back it up just a little bit. There he's coming in motion. Right when he gets to that mesh point, the snap's coming. Watch those linebackers. They kind of don't know what to do. The one at the top is just kind of like, oh my God, there's 3 dudes. Who has the ball? The one at the bottom, it looks like he bounced out to try to be on the outside and get outside contained if Reed keeps the ball. We see that a lot now. You start to see these linebackers scrape to the outside on that type of look. So there's a nice big hole in the middle. The linebacker does get back in the play, but I think that movement actually gained Aggie probably 3 or 4 yards on that. There might have been a stop for loss or maybe 1 yard without that motion across. Down on the goal line, and we'll probably see this at other points in this game. At least I would think we would. Bussy in the Wildcat. Watch the left guard. Left guard's going to pull her. It's like a little quarterback trap. It's a pretty neat little play. I guess he gets just enough push for Bussy to get in the end zone, or the ball comes flying out. I don't know. I didn't watch the replay on that one. But A&M's going to run the ball a lot of different ways, and all that running, if they can have some success, it's going to mean play action. So when Aggie goes into this sort of mesh look, there's really 3 things that can happen. 3 things that the defense has to stop. The zone give, the zone keep, and the play action pass. They don't actually complete this one, but watch the space that opens up. The linebackers come, the safety comes. That safety between the 30 and the 35-yard line, he's coming forward. He stops and goes, whoops. And it's too late. He's got a lane in behind him, just doesn't make a very good throw. But it was there. A good throw, that's a completion for a first down. So we'll see some play action, especially if A&M can have some success running the football. 1st and 10 here. They're looking to get the ball down the field. Auburn's in a zone look. And I don't think Reed really likes that. I think a lot of quarterbacks don't like it. But I think for a young quarterback, seeing all those bodies back there, it's really tough to pull the trigger. So I think what he's going to go back to, if we run a lot of zone, I think you're going to see Reed, and Texas does run a lot of zone. I think you're going to see Reed run a lot this week against Texas, even in the passing game. He doesn't give it a long time. He gets a little bit of pressure. Nothing there, nothing there. I'm out. And he picks up a nice little gain. And that's what I'm talking about when I say QB centric. He's going to do a lot in this Texas A&M offense, and he's going to have to if Texas A&M is going to have some success offensively. Here we go, 3rd and 8. Looking to get the ball down the field again. This time, Auburn's got a pressure look, and they're going to get quick pressure, but they also are running a spy on Reed, and he's really going to have absolutely nowhere to go. Watch that linebacker in the middle right there. He's 1,000% spying Reed. Doesn't make the tackle, but gives his guys enough time to catch from behind. We know who's really, really good at that. Ant Hill. Ant Hill will be doing some spying on Reed this week. Where Reed is really good, I think, is against man coverage. He's going to find Noah Thomas on the fade here in the end zone. Just kind of throws it up. Oh, wait. My bad. He found – I was a play ahead. Sorry. Big Jade Walker. So let me back that one up. I like Jade Walker. I told my wife while we were watching this game, I said, we got to stop that guy. So here we go. Still a man look. You got a pressure look by the Auburn defense there. And if they give Reed time, if you're gonna try to get pressure on Reed, and they do bring pressure, you got to get there. They don't. Jade Walker, nice catch, gets up, elevates, catches that ball. Nice little pitch and catch right there. I think that's where Reed excels. On this next play, he's going to find Reed. He's going to find Noah Thomas on the fade into the end zone, man-to-man coverage. You know it's man because there the guy goes in motion. Just puts it out there. He's not trying to make a perfect ball. He's just trying to throw it up and let his man win. Noah Thomas is 6'6", probably going to win a lot of jump balls. This next one to Noah Thomas is a really, really nice throw into man coverage. Pressure look again. There comes the blitz. Boom. He threw it on time. He threw it accurate. Noah Thomas taking it to the house. If Reed has time, he's going to beat man coverage. So if you're going to play man, you got to get to him. You got to get him out of the pocket. You got to get him flushed out of the pocket. I think, honestly, playing a lot of man coverage against him is not a great idea. Unless you feel like your pressure packages are going to get there. Now let's check out that Aggie defense. We'll check it out in a minute. That Aggie defense. Man, I let that tape go too long. Here we go, that Aggie defense. 1st and 10, they got a 2-deep safety look. Auburn's going to complete a little pass out in the flat and break a tackle, and that's where we're going to get a nice little game. But look how deep the safeties are. This will be a pretty interesting cat and mouse game because they do a lot of stuff with those safeties. Auburn breaks that tackle. Nice little run, man. That was like him against the world basically right there. 2nd and 4. They're going to start in that 2-deep look, but they quickly roll into a man high look to me, man free look. That safety's going to come down. He's going to blitz off the corner. Jumps offside. Auburn gets a free play. Gets the ball out there. Man, we talk about it. We talked about it yesterday with Quinn Ewers. Sometimes on that deep ball, you just got to get the ball out there. And I think actually Quinn throws that one pretty good. But that's the name of the game. When you got man coverage like that, you're just really trying to get a 50-50 ball and hope your guy can make the play. And he did there, sets up 1st and goal for Auburn. But they're going to do a lot of stuff with those safeties and that nickelback. Pressure is coming from those guys. 3rd and 4 here. We're going to get another pressure look from A&M. There's 5 guys on the line of scrimmage right now. You're going to see that safety that's right around the 40-yard line. He's going to start walking up. That linebacker's going to start walking up. And at the snap, they're coming. They're trying to really time the snap, and I think they do a pretty good job of it. One linebacker's going to drop out. You're going to end up with 6 and 6. And Auburn got really lucky here because the pressure came from the top side. They ran the ball to the bottom side, and there just happened to not be a lot of bodies there. So they actually picked up a pretty good gain here. A lot of pressure from the top, kind of weak in the middle. They were able to pick up some nice yardage there. But that's just a kind of a look what you're going to get out of A&M. They're going to line up on the line, and they're going to drop people and bring people you don't expect them to bring. Here we go on 3rd and 13. Another 6-man front. We got a man look. Watch the defender over the slot. So that slot is about to go in motion. Watch what that defender doesn't do. Here we go in motion. Hey, he didn't run with him. But coach, it's a man look. They got pressure. So that should tell the quarterback one of two things. They're really not in man. They're going to drop into zone coverage, or that dude is coming. So they either need to slide the protection to the right or change the protection so the running back picks that guy up. Neither of those things happen. And that nickel, watch him. He's coming, times it up. Nobody touches him. Bam. Sack. The linebacker that running back probably had in the original pass protection just stood there. He's probably spying. So that's how they'll confuse the quarterback, they'll confuse the offensive line, confuse the running back. Just anything they can do to knock off what protection they've got going. You're going to see guys come from crazy spots. Here's probably their pretty standard goal line look. Cover zero, a lot of humanity real close to the ball. You're going to get a little throw down here at the bottom of the screen. Almost a nice little play by the Auburn offense. Just can't quite pull it down. Watch these Aggie safeties. We've been talking about them. No, they are very aggressive, particularly this number 3. Here they are in a 2-deep look. Watch when number 3 reads run. He's the bottom safety in that 2-deep look. I mean, he's almost like he wants to come anyway. And there he comes. Very aggressive in the run game. People are going to take advantage of that. We're in that same 2-deep look. Watch the play side safety. He's going to step up on the play action. Auburn's going to get over the top of him on the post. The offside safety can't get over in time. Big play, Auburn. Watch that topside safety. He steps up, floats a little bit. It's too late, buddy. You're running and chasing. You see number 3 can't get over from the other side, the offside safety. Easy pitch and catch. Big-time touchdown for Auburn there. Down closer to the goal line, we're going to see the same 2-man look. You're going to see number 3 right there on the bottom hash. He's going to attack the run fake, and the corner's going to get beat really bad on a slant and go, which he should. If they're really in too deep, he's got that zone right there near the line of scrimmage. He's not chasing. Watch the slant and go. Watch that safety. He jumps on the fake, wide ass open. So you can take advantage of these Texas A&M safeties. We can get people in behind them. Now, can we complete the pass? I don't know. But at the very least, we can scare the shit out of them, make them stop doing that.
Mike Sherman can
Oh man, how'd that get in there?
Justin Tucker from 40 yards out for the game.
Let's listen to it, baby.
It's up. The Longhorns win it.
Remember, Aggie, Big Brother's back. Final thoughts on this Texas A&M team offensively. Didn't see a lot out of Marcel Reed in the designed running game against Auburn. I think that's going to change in this Texas game. I think their shot is for him to just really kind of take over the game. And if he can get some stuff going with his legs, or if they have some pretty good success in the running game, just handing it off, I think that's going to open some stuff up down the field. He's certainly one of those guys that if you get your hands on him or you have a chance to get your hands on him, you better grab him because he can get pretty quick. I only watched a couple of games of Aggie all year. I really only paid attention to this Auburn game from a study perspective. But Regis does not look comfortable throwing into zone looks down the field. Now, he looks really good on man, and he throws a pretty accurate ball. He's got a pretty decently strong arm. He's going to utilize that running back check down in the flat, maybe across the middle a little bit in those zone looks. He gets a little antsy in the pocket with pressure, and that's okay. He goes back to what's more natural, which is running. So Texas will want to make sure they get like this contained pressure. It's not just an all-out, let's everybody get up the field. It's more or less like, let's just try to make the line of scrimmage 5 yards deeper than it was. And then we'll spy them. I really like Noah Thomas and Jade Walker. I think they're really big targets. They both got good hands. In the 50-50 ball game, I think those are guys that can win some 50-50 balls. Running game took a big hit when Moss went out. But I think this O-line can make a little bit of room. And like I said, they've got some things schematically where they kind of create room with motion. They've got some different blocking schemes that I think could confuse the defensive line. It's just stuff you don't see a lot. And then obviously, again, Reed real dangerous. Defensively, definitely susceptible to the big play on the outside, especially off the play action. Texas kind of struggled here a little bit, though. We have struggled getting the ball down the field. We saw it last week a couple of times against Kentucky. Had guys, just couldn't hit them. So it'll be interesting to see if Texas maybe can hit one or two of those times, because they're going to be there. The opportunity is going to be there. This A&M defense really, really big up front. They're hard to get a lot of push on because there's just bodies everywhere. Big and powerful in the pass rush, but I'm not sure there's a ton of quickness and a ton of speed there on this pass rush. They're gonna get you with safeties and linebackers. When they really want to get a ton of pressure, they got to blitz. They're not going to get it out of that front four. Folks, I expect this game to be like an absolute dogfight. I mean, let's think about it. You're renewing a really storied rivalry in the state of Texas after 13 years of silence. That's big enough right there for this to be a big deal game. Then you add in both teams are fighting for a spot in the SEC title game to meet Georgia. Texas likely in the playoffs, even with a loss here, but Aggie absolutely needs a win to stay alive in the playoff hunt. There is a lot on the line. A lot of people are talking about this might be the biggest Aggie home game in history. I don't know about all that. But it's a big one. Kyle Field going to be absolutely insane. It's a night game. And the 12th man remembers what happened the last time Texas was in College Station. We just showed you. Someone just showed you. I didn't put that in there. I think this game is definitely going to have like a 14 playoff semifinal type atmosphere. I mean, this is going to be a big deal. It's a big deal for both fan bases. It's a big deal for both institutions. A lot of pent-up aggression on that Aggie side. They hate them some Texas. It's going to be fun. I'm glad it's back. Win or lose, I'm glad the rivalry's back. I think it's a travesty that these two teams, they're only like an hour apart, maybe an hour and a half apart. Just sickening that they haven't played for the last 13 years. Big brother's back, Aggie. Sometimes little brother beats big brother, but big brother is back, and that's a problem for Aggie. They don't like that, so they want to get this win big time. We'll be back Wednesday. We'll do our Trace Ultra game picks for Week 14. We got to get better. We went 0-3 last week. We'll do our 4 keys and a prediction as well on this Texas and Texas A&M game down in College Station. You can find us on Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube at Horn Takes. Give us a subscribe. Give us a follow if you like what you see. We appreciate all you folks that are following us, are subscribed to us, do interact with us on the line. I love it. Love to talk football. If you're not doing those things, go ahead and give us a shot. Won't cost you a thing. We appreciate the support. Email me at horntakespodcast@gmail.com with all your questions, comments, concerns, and criticisms. I love them all. We're getting closer to Thanksgiving, which means we're getting closer to the Lonestar Showdown. You guys get hooked.